Hello. Hi, Queenie. How are you doing? So, I would be very surprised if there is like one person that is not feeling this because it's so heavy. Um, though, what's really okay, I'm just like jumping straight into it, but I'm starting with this week's astrology. We're going to talk about some things. There isn't until thanks, Queenie. Hello. But basically what I have this week, because we are gonna have a Pisces new moon on Sunday, but I'm gonna go over that more like Saturday and like have the chart for that. But and possibly talk about it more when I do the viewers reading later, because they have some interesting stuff that's gonna line up with it. But what I'm going to talk about first is what's going on this week. There isn't like, how can I put this? There isn't like huge shifts, like things going into other signs and stuff like that this week, or like the full moon isn't happening till, new moon till Sunday. Your fish. Everything is almost in fish right now, to say the least. That's what I want to talk about. We are having a huge pileup of Pisces energy, and you can see it right here. All these sitting up here in Pisces. Very cramped. A lot of... Okay, just let me describe Pisces energy. There is like, the scale, like the good and the bad. The good is very compassionate. It's, wanting to seek something bigger than yourself, like having meaning to what you do. It's also in its highest sense, like unconditional love, like that divine love that doesn't judge. It's almost like the love that the mom is supposed to have for her child. I'm not going to say the love that the mom has for her child, because there have been plenty of times where the mom does not have the love, but like the love that is considered the love between a mom and a child, like that kind of like unconditional love. It's like those things plus like bonds, but in the sense where it's not like an owning bond, it's like a merging bond with somebody. Hey, Orboro. So having all this plus, the extremes of it, which is escapism, trying to, source of mom energy. There's this big grandiose sense of delusion and trying to get away from your problems, because Pisces energy is a very sensitive energy, because what happens with Pisces energy is it doesn't have boundaries. So a lot of times what happens is everything just kind of seeps into Pisces energy, and it's like you have to learn the hard way to have boundaries with this energy. And we are learning the hard way to have boundaries with this energy, because Saturn's in Pisces, and Saturn's all about your boundaries and delaying gratification for things that you want unless you do the thing it wants. So it's very that way. But basically, one thing to really be careful of with Pisces energy, especially with the escapism, there is such things as like substance abuse with this kind of thing, but it's not just substance. It's literally anything you use to escape, whether that is like television or food or anything that like, the too much of a good thing. Anything you do with that in excess would be Pisces, because you're trying to get away from something, which is why it's so important to have willpower and to have the... How can I put this? It's like learning to stand up in the places where you feel weakest, and that's very hard. Especially like, because wherever you have Pisces in your chart, because we all have it, Even if you don't have signs in it, you have a house that is ruled by Pisces. Pisces is sitting somewhere in your chart, just like how it's looking in this chart. It's sitting somewhere. Wherever you have it is where you have like this weakness to either developing codependency with things, or you have this need to, like, how should I put this? It's like you have this need to be connected so badly that you give up like yourself in the process. And it's like, you know, that's the downswing of it. The upswing of it is just you're very like loving and very like nurturing and very like unconditional with how you see things. Like, say, like if it was like, say this chart was your chart, right? And you had it 11th house, you would have this energy towards your friendships. You would be very unconditionally loving towards your friendships. They would bring this sense of something bigger than yourself. Like the friendships you would make, they would expand your view on things, possibly like be spiritual or religious, because that's another thing that Pisces rules, which is kind of neutral. It depends on what you do with it, the religion and spirituality and stuff. It can go either way. But it's also going to be where you might make friends that have like addictions, or like you might make friends where you guys have codependent relationships and like there's not really good boundaries. Like, you know, it goes either way. So all of these things are what's being focused on very heavily this week, because there is so much in Pisces, and it stays in Pisces. We're in Pisces season having all this, and by the time like the Sun and Mercury is going to move out of Pisces during March, but when that happens, we're going to be having Venus and Mars trying to move up in there. So it's like we're trading things, and Neptune and Saturn are just freaking staying in there. So this energy we're going to be feeling in every aspect of our lives, because each planet's moving through there, and it's going to feel very murky. Sometimes it's going to feel like we are very confused, because that's Neptune energy, this confusion and not really knowing what to do, feeling like things are foggy at best when making decisions. And we also have Mercury that's in Pisces. So this is our communication. This is our ability to write. So if like you're doing emails, if you're texting, if you're signing contracts with things, it's like there's so many things that could be hazy, could be foggy, that could go wrong, things that are like glanced over that you don't think are important that end up being important. Because even though Pisces is very like unconditional, like energy and like all this stuff, not judgmental, that also can lend to not being too savvy with what underhanded things people can do. This is where we are naive. So it's really easy in this energy to want to be naive, to want to be trusting and just like not like double check things, but for your own good, double check. Even if you feel you can implicitly trust somebody, double check things, because it's just the energy we're in right now. Same thing, Mercury energy goes with, you know, it rules Gemini, and Gemini third house energy deals with like cars, siblings, things like that. So this could be motor trouble, because Mercury's not too happy in Pisces. It's kind of washy. So just be checking up on those things too. It's just a little side note. But also in this is the Sun. The Sun is our ego. And when I say ego, I'm not like, let me just say what ego is. Ego is our defense mechanism that we develop from very young to protect ourselves from situations that either make us uncomfortable, that are painful. It's like this whole thing that we build in order to protect ourselves. Now, when you have like an unhealthy, unchecked ego, you just have a bunch of traumas that are dictating your life, is basically what it is. That's what it comes down to. It's not like this being bigger or better than another person. A healthy ego understands that it is important to have boundaries. It is important to have confidence in yourself. Like, ego has its place. It's not like you're supposed to just kill ego. There is a very healthy place for ego that we all need as humans, because we are not these like freaking divine beings that like have no like sense of free will and just always do the right thing. Like, we're messy humans. We are gonna make mistakes and do things, so we need these things. What's important is gauging where you are with it. Having it in the sign of Pisces deludes it. a little bit. It can either make people be very self-sabotaging and just believe they are worthless, you know, the sliding scale, like not being able to see their worth, not being able to see their value, and sitting in a victim mindset where it's like everything always happens to me and I have no control over anything, like that kind of thing. In the other sense, it can be like this thing where like being all powerful, all knowing, and like very grand Delulu kind of sense like that. But in the best sense, it would be acting on the ego part of, you know, having healthy boundaries because it's close to Saturn. And being able to extend your love without judgment and fear, because that's a lot of things that happen with our ego is we do things out of fear. And if you're able to do things out of love in this energy instead of fear, things will work better. But a lot of us aren't going to be able to do that because we're going to be feeling like slightly psychotic. Hey Ruby. So that's pretty much like, that's just the Pisces energy by itself. That's just that. There's nothing else. That's just literally what we're dealing with just what's happening with Pisces just this week, like the start of the week. Because I have like 3 charts that kind of like gauge the energy like throughout the week, like a Monday, Thursday, Saturday, so you can kind of get like a beginning, middle, end feel. But hi bae. So moving, like, of course I'm gonna keep saying how things connect to the Pisces. I haven't talked about aspects yet. We were talking shit. But this is gonna keep being brought back to because everything's aspecting it. So another thing we need to realize is, while, you know, it's not enough that all this is in Pisces making us be very like introspective, very because Pisces energy is water. Water energy is very emotion driven. So you're gonna feel the depths of emotions you have not probably felt your whole life with this transit, and it's gonna be very irritating because while it's happening, it's not like you just have that. You also have the North Node and Chiron conjunct. You cannot escape the healing that is happening to you right now. It is like being forced upon you in this very emotional Pisces energy. So if you are not a crier, you're probably crying. There's no escaping it with this. Like, you're being forced to look at these wounds that you might have ran from throughout your life. And it's like, last week it hit its crescendo, so whatever was gonna pop up, things probably started popping up if it wasn't already hitting you before last week, because you're gonna feel it building to it. But it hit its exact last week. So whatever came out of that, you're probably still reeling and trying to deal with the emotions of whatever happened, and new things are probably branching off of that because you're realizing something else is connected to it. It's very deep. And it's not, it's like, it's those things. It's the whole reason why Pisces energy, 12th house energy, is connected to escapism, is because it is so much. It's like literally all of this pain hitting you at one time is gonna make you want to run away from it. It's gonna make you not want to deal with it. Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't understand why you're emotional, you don't understand why you're always hurting, and it's like this constant feeling that's not going away, and you're like, I'm not usually like this. This isn't me. And like, some people, it might be them if they're like heavy water, where they're like always in their feels and always in their emotions. But people that have heavy air, that have heavy earth, even heavy fire, even though fire is like more passionate, they can still feel the wateriness sometimes because they're pretty, you know, impulsive, but they're not going to be feeling as deeply. Their feelings are going to be a little more on the very fast in and out kind of feeling, as opposed to this deep lingering feeling. So everyone's gonna do this differently. Now, people that have heavy water might be navigating this a little easier because they're used to feeling all the feels. I live, see this, Queenie, like, I live here. It's like, if you're used to this, what's gonna happen is it's probably gonna bring out talents and stuff that you haven't been doing, because it's like, if you're really used to this energy, you're like, I'm used to being in my feels all the freaking time. What's probably happening is you're tapping into things that it's like, oh, I want to try this. Oh, I want to try this, because Pisces energy is very creative. It has like this flow where you just do stuff, and the more you don't judge your creations, the better they come out, because it's literally that whole feeling of not judging things with Pisces. It's on the axis with Virgo, and Virgo balances out Pisces because it is the judgment. It's the one that like creates discernment. So that's why like they are on the same axis. They're on the service axis where they want to be of service to other people. But Virgo is going to heal in a more physical manner, more down to earth, more practical. They're going to be more discerning somewhat, even though they can still be very self-sacrificing, just like Pisces. Pisces isn't going to have that. They're just going to go in gung-ho and like give everything everywhere, and it's going to be a lot less practical and more like a lot of emotion, like get the emotion out. So if you are like, I don't want to just say if you're heavy water, because you can be heavy water and still feeling it heavy through this, but if you are heavy water, or you're used to Pisces, like you have Pisces, a lot of 12th house energy, what if you're healthy, like you've been working through it, like you've been really like, say like going to therapy, if you've been really like trying to do like the work to like heal through like the really gnarly stuff in your life, that's where it's going to put you like ahead of the other people that have been running from it. Because it's like not everyone is working at the same pace as everybody else. Everyone like, you know, attacks their problems. Some people never attack their problems and just leave them there and like stay that way their whole life. You know, they'll, you know, that's their thing. You know, they do what they do. I think way too much to do that. I'm in a constant state of existential crisis because I think way too freaking much. But this fellow fish. But with, like I was saying, with this North Node Aries and Chiron Aries conjunct each other, this is a very personal wound around our identity and what we feel we can accomplish and what we can do in the world, our motivation. It's like the thing in our past that just cripples us and makes us feel like we can't move forward, and it like zaps us of our motivation, is what's being thrown in our face over and over again in different ways with this over here. So let me talk about some aspects to all this Pisces stuff. We have some nice ones, but just because they're nice does not mean you can willy-nilly with the nice things. If you willy-nilly with the nice things, it's too much of a thing, and once again you're in that loop of doing too much. So first thing we have is Jupiter. Now Jupiter is sextiling Saturn, the Sun, and Mercury, giving it a nice boost. Now sextiles are these opportunities to explore things within us. It can be exploring talents within us that we have, like, you know, left by the wayside, which is a really good use for this energy. It could be a way to make money because Taurus rules money. Jupiter's in Taurus right now, and having Saturn in Pisces is like bringing your ideas down and grounding them. So if you're able to bring your ideas down and then find a way to make money with them, what if it's a creative project, good for you. But if you're able to do that, it's like it's in this energy, like very easily, like tapping into your talents, building something from your talents that's concrete, that stands the test of time because of Taurus, and really aligns with you because it's Pisces. So it's like, it's really good for that. And it also has a sextile. Not Saturn though. Saturn's a little wide for it. It's kind of still in it. It's very loose. But with Uranus, we're having all these, and Uranus is actually sextiling Neptune also. Like Jupiter's a little too far away to be sextiling Neptune. It's going to get kind of crazy when that happens because Neptune is all about bringing the Delulu to everybody, and Jupiter is all about making it bigger. So I would not be surprised if when that sextile happens in the world, we see a great amount of Delulu just like erupt into this into the space. So like not my space, no, not here, but I'm just saying like out in the world. Like I am not gonna erupt in Delulu here, but that's pretty much like something we can see because Uranus is very like unpredictable energy. It literally comes in to shake things up. That's what it's here for. If it's boring and humdrum, it's not doing its job. So In Taurus, because Taurus is like our physical goods, it's our money, it's our security, it's our self-worth, you know, how all those things are connected together, a lot of shakeups with that. Now, since it's sextiling, this is the opportunity that we have to have these shakeups happen in ways that are really good for us, like things that shake up our perception of like our value we have of ourselves, especially if it's not that great. It's like a lot of things that just kind of come in and pile on and show us, hey, we actually are like really good at this. And like, instead of having, I know I've been struggling hardcore with imposter syndrome, and I know I'm up here talking to you guys, telling you all this stuff about astrology, and I've been having these crazy like existential crisis imposter syndromes around the fact that I don't know enough about astrology to be teaching it. Like, I'm telling you, this stuff makes you go like into some places that are not fun, but it also like throws things at you like this would not be happening if you weren't in a place to be doing it. And I think that's the whole thing with this North Node that we're dealing with Chiron. Like, if you're not supposed to do it, if it's not your thing, you wouldn't be able to do it. And I think that's what it's throwing in our faces a lot, is that if you're able to do the thing, then do the thing instead of doubting yourself. And I'm like really needing to take this advice hardcore. But like, just because I get up here and talk to you guys about this stuff does not mean I struggle any less than you guys. I am still human. Just because I know these things and can look at my chart does not mean I'm not over here having an existential crisis if like what I'm doing is the right thing or not. And that's what I struggle with a lot, is like, is my motivation and my stuff aligned with the right thing? And that's what I just struggle a lot with that, because I don't know, like, I have a lot of deep personal reasons to not be like a certain thing that I saw growing up. And it's like, anytime I feel I can even be slightly in that like area, I become like very dark, and I like need to pull myself out of it. And everyone needs to realize that they're human, and when you go to dark places, it is possible to pull yourself out. It can be very hard. You might have to cry a lot. I'm not a freaking crier, and I've been crying so freaking much. I don't. I'm telling you. I want to be able to teach you guys, and like, one thing that I feel is really important, if anyone is feeling like this huge imposter syndrome around what you do, it's really important to look at how it makes you feel to do it. Like, if it's something that makes you excited, and the reason you start getting imposter syndrome is you're looking at other people and seeing where they are while they're doing the thing you like doing, and like seeing that you're not there yet, just try your best to pull yourself away from those people and realize they have had the time. A lot of these people that are doing the thing you want to do have had the time to sit and learn to do the thing you want to do. And you are finally on a path where you can start doing the thing you want to do, which is so different. It's like you don't have these years or however long they have had to get this under your belt yet, and you're starting it. Just because you're starting it doesn't mean you don't deserve to be where you are. And that's really important. Don't let other people's experiences invalidate yours. And I'm saying this to myself too. But that's the kind of energy we are in right now, and it's very deep, and a lot of people aren't going to have the people to talk to about it. They're going to be really feeling isolated, because Pisces energy is very isolating, because it puts you in a place where you're like, I don't think people want to hear about this from me. It's like, this is a lot. Like, who wants to hear about all this like literal deep subconscious stuff? And that's also a problem too, because Mercury, not Mercury, I don't know why I said Mercury, Venus and Mars are still conjunct. They're getting a little further away from each other, but they're going to stay pretty close traveling together until at least something goes retrograde and like backs off from each other. But they're traveling together, creating this thing where Venus is our relationships, it's how we love, it's our, once again, bringing up our self-worth and our value, because, you know, rules Taurus, which is why I brought that up with Taurus. So we're having a square between the planet of bigness and Taurus over here and the planet of Venus. This is making it harder, because what it's either doing is making this big well inside us, like by ourselves, if it's not coming from external. If it's inside us, all of these things we're being met with that we need to work through, that we need to heal, that literally go to our self-worth, are being like made bigger. And that's something that we need to realize right now, is that some of us are probably seeing through this lens that makes things magnified. And if we like step back and we're a little more objective, because that's what Aquarius needs. It needs you to be objective, and Venus is in Aquarius. So, and Pisces is not objective. It is very much all the feels all the time. So like having this big, huge energy that's just forcing you into feels, when this tough aspect is telling you, hey, you need to be objective, is like this is like a rubber band smacking you every time, because it's just, you can't get it and it just keeps hurting you. And so don't be down on yourself if you feel very stuck in this energy right now. It's gonna feel a little better once Venus finally like kind of scoots a little further on and Jupiter isn't like squaring it, because it's making it big. If it's outside of you, if this is not like an internal thing that's happening, and like like your environment is pretty peaceful and it's good and it's just a lot of internal struggle and feeling very isolated, what it could be outside is you have people that you have these relationships with. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it's these people you're close to, people that bring you a sense of security, that are doing either things in a big way or emoting in a big way. They're doing something in a big way that makes you feel like you can't have security with them. It's like this abrasive, big feeling that I can't be secure here. And it's like this feeling of running, like that ghosting energy with Aquarius, the detachment, leave kind of thing. Like, should I stay? Should I go? Could be happening in a lot of relationships. And it's very scary, because this could be stuff that's like, these could be relationships that are good, but you're battling a lot of inner demons right now. So it makes it seem like the relationship is bad. Or it could actually be a bad relationship that's showing you in very big ways that you should not be there. A way you can see this is, once again, you need to be objective, sadly. And it's very hard when you're in the midst of it, especially with this energy. It could be a bunch of just fighting that's happening constantly. And it seems like nothing's going anywhere, and it's just getting worse and more unpredictable and like more volatile. And it's like, obviously out in the world, we can kind of see this is happening with a lot of different areas. Like, I have not been in the loop, I'm gonna be honest, because I've been working through my own crap. So I haven't been watching a lot of news stuff. The little bit of stuff I have been seeing is not pretty anywhere. There's like so much crap happening right now, and there's a lot of people predicting crap's getting worse because of the stuff that's coming up. I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, whatever crazy psychotic crap is happening out in the world, you, as much as it doesn't feel that way, because the sun is in Pisces up here, as much as it doesn't feel that way and you want to be like, man, I'm a freaking victim of circumstances. It's like, as much as you want to do that, you have to find your power in there. That's Pluto in Aquarius. You have to find the power that you have, and you have to be able to center yourself around that. Because, how can I put this? There might be outside help, but it wouldn't be what you're thinking it would be. If you were to get a big boon of outside help from someone with this energy, you have Uranus in there that's going to be causing, and it's an even tighter square to Venus. What that's going to do is make something unpredictable happen. Like, say you go to someone that you really trust to loan you some money so that like you could get through something. Now, what if something unexpected happens to that person and now the money they loaned you, they actually, it's like it can get very messy. It's like they can need it back, or they can get very emotional about something. You could get very emotional. There could be a third party that gets fucking emotional about the fact that you're getting money from somebody and tries to sabotage it, because sabotaging energy is Pluto and Pisces energy. So it's like that jealousy's there, because Venus doesn't just rule love, it rules like the spectrum. Like I tell you guys, with everything there's a spectrum to it. It rules that love, but it also rules jealousy. So if we're having this square, any kind of envy or jealousy or other things you're feeling towards people will be brought bigger. It'll make those insecurities come out when you're dealing with like these certain people, or when you're just feeling personally triggered, whether like you're watching like a show on TV, or like you're just reading something on the internet. You could scroll by a post of something and it just triggers you and makes you want to go crazy in the comments. Like this kind of energy, it just makes things bigger, so it makes your triggers bigger. It doesn't it's like all of it. So if you're feeling like a situation, a person, something dealing with you is just way too exaggerated, way too out of control, allow yourself the grace to step away from it as much as you possibly can. That's the only way you're gonna be able to pull the like heavy emotional body of yourself out of it, and be able to like look at it more objectively and be like, okay, how much of this do I actually really need to keep? Because we're going to be moving into Aries season after Pisces season, which is the calendar start of the astrological year. Because, everyone has their new year. Everybody has a different new year. For astrology, it's Aries season starting everything. So it's like a clean slate. So things you want to like get out of your life, healthy habits that you want to start, do that in Aries season. But the things that you want to like kick out of your life, like say like a bad habit you like want to drop, do that now, because it gives it permanence, because we're at the end with all this Pisces energy, and Saturn's very permanent. It creates like this structure around what you're doing. So as much as it may feel very, very difficult, because it's a lot easier in this energy to want to either lay in bed, to not do anything, to vegetate. Like it's very easy to just shut things off and want to only listen to music, or like just drown out the world and not like do anything, especially if something feels painful and you're feeling these painful it's very easy to be like, nah, I'm just not gonna deal with this and this energy, because it's just loud and it's painful. It's not how can I put this, it's not like this kind of soothing thing where you're sitting there and you're like at peace and you're calm. And it's like, this is like you're sitting there and you have this nervous, fidgety energy, but you also feel like you're disconnected, like in a sense from your body. Like you feel very floaty, and it's like, I just don't feel like I'm here right now, and I feel very uncomfortable. And then it's like your emotions are very wishy-washy. It's like, it's not very pleasant. So the best thing for this kind of energy is to do what the opposite axis, like the because this is like a lot of Pisces, the opposite would be Virgo, to do a lot of things that are very Virgo like, to like ground yourself. Because one thing that I do, like obviously this isn't going to be like an everybody thing, you need to apply it in a way where it's like helpful to you. But when I feel myself getting too much in my head and I feel like, I really need to get out of myself, I like start doing something physical. Like I start cleaning, I start cooking, I start organizing something. Like I start like, I have a Virgo moon. So the way I like ground my emotions is doing very textile, very like almost time consuming things. So it's almost like my brain is busy doing the things I'm doing instead of, being left to think too much, because that's what my brain does on its own. It just thinks way too freaking much. So when I start doing things actively and moving around, for some of you it could be exercise, for others it could be like, an actual hobby you have that's physical, whether that's like, art is physical, it's like a hand thing. doing like dance, whatever you have that's like a big hobby for you that like grounds you, as long as it's not something that puts you further out into space. You don't need more space right now, you need grounding. If you can do that and like get back into your body, it can help you be objective, because you can't really be objective if you're floating off in space and like feeling all delulu and all that mess. So the best thing to do is, you're feeling really out of sorts, try to do something that seems small. It doesn't take like a crazy amount of brain power, but it's like it helps you think about something else. Hey, Ladybug. So this is beginning of the week. Like I was saying, we're starting out like this is Monday's energy. We're already feeling this, but it's like this is pretty much what we're leading into. Now, this is Thursday. Thursday is gonna be, because like I told you guys, things are moving, things are shifting. Thursday might feel a little better when it comes to like, you know, that very heavy, huge square we were having with Venus and Jupiter. It's finally not there anymore. So it's almost like you could feel like whatever situation was coming out of that specifically, you can have a sigh of relief by the end of the week. Like you're getting like a like being able to breathe. But what's going to be happening instead is we're going to be having the moon be in Aquarius that day. So it's creating more squares between Jupiter and Uranus. And this time it's not with relationships and that stuff. It's going to be with our own personal world, our emotions. And the ways we try to detach from our emotions. It's going to be bringing up, like, you might be like, oh yay, I'm done with the Venus thing, but it's like, no, the moon's going to be coming in that day and like showing you, after all this crap you've been dealing with Venus, where you might have like detached from things instead of working through it. And so you're going to be given this chance that's going to feel very painful to try to finish working through it in a more objective way. And it probably isn't going to feel good, to be honest with you. We still have all the sextiles happening between all the Pisces and Jupiter and Uranus going into later in the week. So that's still there, still the ability to be like creating things we want to create, using this energy to like work through like our self-worth blocks and being able to do things that we really want to do and feeling like we're actually working through our stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff here where it's like, if you're working through your stuff, you could be making great strides in things that you want to do. If you're not, you're going to be being knocked on your ass a lot, and it's not going to be fun. This is definitely the kind of energy it just, because look at this chart, right? All of it is like smushed up in this area. This just makes it very, very, very concentrated. And wherever this is in your chart, you're just feeling this huge concentration of energy, and this like maybe 3 or 4 like little sectors of your life are just like being lit up over and over and over again as the weeks are passing until this stuff moves out of Pisces. Now, April, we're gonna be going into eclipse season. I'm not saying it's gonna get easier, but there's definitely gonna be stuff happening. A lot of stuff. Because what this is doing, basically, is it's getting us ready. It's like, we're giving you all of this Pisces stuff to look at what isn't working, what you need to get rid of, what you need to not do, and you need to, like, just drop. So that way, when you get into the eclipse season and everything's in Aries and everything's, like, full steam ahead, go for it, do the thing. When everything's doing that and things are being lit up and we're starting a new eclipse cycle, which we're probably going to start feeling after this Pisces new moon, it's going to like be pushing us towards that eclipse. It's going to get heavy. And depending on where you're having this eclipse, you're going to have something huge that shifts in your life. Possibly like you make a huge decision. You leave a relationship, you make a huge move, you change careers. It's one of, like, eclipses aren't small. It could be changing fields of study. It really depends on where it is in your chart, because the eclipse is going to be a full moon, which is like releasing something. It's a huge release. So it's definitely something that you've been kind of carrying around, especially since last year when we had the eclipse like around like October. It has like a cycle, like a 6-month cycle. So if you can think back to October, like September, October, and think about like a major theme that like appeared in your life, like it just showed up and it's like it wasn't there previously, it's gonna pinpoint what this eclipse is really trying to make you either make a decision on or like move on from, and things like that. Like whatever was brought up at that time very specifically is what's going to be brought up with this, like a finality is what's going to happen with this decision of whatever it is. So like I said, depends on where it is in your chart, but like I said, energy's still here. We're still doing this later in the week. It's just, it's going to be less on relationships and it's going to be more focused on our own personal emotions and like our own personal world later in the week. So it might just be we're able to get some time to ourselves if we weren't able to get that earlier in the week with all the chaos and dealing with people. Or it could just be we worked through like that inner turmoil we were having with our own self-worth, and now we're trying to find a way to be more objective with our emotions over certain situations. It really depends on if it's like a personal inward thing that you've been doing. It'll show in your chart if it's a personal inward as opposed to like an outward. Tons of people are what is giving you these lessons. So like I said, it really depends on your chart. And then we're gonna go into Saturday. This is the day before the Pisces new moon, because it'll happen like Sunday morning. So you can see it's getting close. It's scooting up there. And we're having Venus getting closer to Pisces. Now, Venus in Pisces will be nice because Venus in Pisces is exalted, because Pisces energy, like I've told you guys before, is that like non-judgmental loving energy. So when you have Venus in that, it's like just emitting unconditional love. Like, I love without conditions. I don't judge you. And like, it's a really beautiful thing. It's great for helping others. It's great for being altruistic. It's like the downside with it, of course, is the boundaries where you just give and give and give and give of yourself very unconditionally, and that's taken advantage of. So that's just going to be something we're going to be looking out for moving into the following week. But that's not there yet. Everything else is sitting up here in Pisces. Like I said, that new moon, which is when the moon is going to be sitting on top of the sun the following morning, is like gearing up. You can feel it building throughout Saturday night. And it's going to make you even more emotional. It's like, if you thought you were not emotional already, the moon is our emotions, and it's moving up here with all this stuff. Saturday night, because the moon is literally going to be on top of Saturn, because if you look at this, it's almost going to feel this two things. It can go two ways, right? It's either going to feel like your emotions are being like stifled, like oppressed and pushed down, because that's what Saturn does. It like pushes things down, and like it's almost like it puts it in a pressure cooker and it's gonna like just push it down, just keep shoving it under. Now that could be like an outside source doing that to you, because Venus is still squaring Uranus, so there could be some unpredictable relationship dynamics that make you feel like, you know, you were trying to express something and all of a sudden it's like stomped and squished. Like that could be something that happens like Saturday night going into Sunday morning because of this. But it could also be because, you know, that's like the side we don't like, but there's also the way of Saturn is us learning structure, and it could be all this work we've been doing throughout the week, all this freaking heavy crap that we've been having to work through. What can happen is it makes it to where we actually have the willpower, because Saturn is our willpower and our staying power. It's the tenacity. So it's gonna possibly give us the ability to create structure, to create like a lot of like this emotional foundation that's actually healthy for us, you know, like starting the new thing, because Mercury is very close, if you look up here, to moving into Aries. Like, it's, the planets are starting to shift. They're getting closer to shifting in Aries as the month goes on. And as this is happening, like Mercury at the 29th degree is saying that there's this very big critical point around the way we communicate. It can be communicating with ourselves. It can be our subconscious communication that we just have that we need to break, because using Saturn, we can actually put this structure with our emotions going like, I don't need to be talking to myself this way. This is not healthy. I do not want like this kind of mental landscape. It's like being able to have more control over your thoughts and the way you're doing things because you've been doing the work. Now, if you haven't been doing the work, I mean, honestly, this could like be like the last straw where you're just like, screw it, I'm done. And then you like go off into an escapism, to be quite honest with you, because 29 is a crisis. It's like you're put into this thing where you either have a mental break and it's like a crisis moment and you just like, you flail, fall apart, cry, you know, you finally let the emotions out that you've been fighting so freaking hard all week. Like something comes, hits the crescendo, and then you're made to sit there with everything you've been fighting. Or you're finally like, you're given an opportunity, because crisis can turn into an opportunity that pushes you forward into what you're supposed to do. Now, crisis is going to be different for everybody. To be honest with you, it's like a lot of people are going to have a lot, because it is Mercury, it's going to be a lot more of a mental, personal, subconscious crisis, because it's Mercury in Pisces. What's going to make it very hard is talking about it, because Mercury, when it's in Pisces, finds it hard to communicate, because the way it moves through the world is through feeling and merging with things, not necessarily like creating boundaries and having like its own personal thought process, because that's the way it works. It's like I learn through meshing with things. I don't learn through having my own separate body and just taking in information, which is like how air works, which is what this whole thing in Aquarius is trying to teach us, like how to be in that air energy and be able to like be a separate entity from the emotions so that we can objectively heal it. That's why we need it. Like, we need every aspect of every sign in our charts. We need it to work together in order to like help the other part of our chart get better. Otherwise, we just stay stuck. Like, any person that has a hate for a zodiac sign, they are not going to heal, because they effectively are hating a crucial piece of themselves and a crucial piece of understanding themselves. So until they can work past their hate, they're not going to be able to work past that limitation. And that's something that can very well come up here, is our limitations, because having Pluto sextiling Mercury, it's like you have this opportunity to see where you've placed limitations on yourself, where you've tried to control yourself in a way to make either yourself more pleasing for others, to be able to be liked by others, because Pisces does that. It does the thing where it's like, I want to love and be loved. I want to understood. I want to understand and be understood. It's like that whole like dynamic of like, what I give, I want to receive, right? And it's like being very gullible and unassuming with it. And Pluto's gonna show you like where you need to start, you know, taking your power back in certain situations and doing it in a healthy way, so that you have healthy boundaries around your emotions, the love you give people, the love you receive from people, being able to communicate your needs in these respects, like taking the control back over like your mind and being able to say the things you need instead of keeping it buried, like being able to stand up for yourself. And that could be a crisis moment for some people, where they finally stand up for themselves, and it seems like a crisis because they've never done it before. And it's like, just a lot of people in their life are like, what? Like, very unpredictable things with your relationships. Like, if you stand up for yourself and you've never done it, it's going to create a whole ruckus in your relationships. It's just how it is. But what is important is that you realize that's what this energy wants. It wants you to stand on your own and be able to be happy on your own, so that way, like, when you're with your group of people, you're happy being yourself with that group of people. That's what Aquarius energy is. It's not like just because I know a lot of people talk about like Aquarius energy like, oh, it's the unique, it's the weird, it's the quirky. Yeah, it's that. But it's not just standing alone by yourself. That's what Leo does. It stands alone by itself on a stage and it's admired by people. Aquarius energy is the unique person that is part of their group of people, that is respected for their individual things they bring to the group, but they're still very much an interconnected part of the group. Like, it's very different. Aquarius isn't very emotive because it's like the way they detach from things allows them to just accept people as they are without becoming attached to them in that way. Pisces is more, I merge with you, I'm attached to you. It's very like different from Aquarius, but they're both doing the same thing. Aquarius is like humanity, but being objective and letting everyone do their thing, have their different views and stuff, but we can all still be together. Pisces is like, I'm melding my world with yours. And like a lot of times it's hard for them to keep their own, how can I put this? It's hard for them to keep their own standing on certain situations because they will just let it melt away in order to bring other people closer to them. Like if my points of view, hello Panda, I'm good. If other people bring like their points of view to like Pisces and they really want to keep those people around, sometimes they will water down their points of view, or they will just like, you know, hide their points of view in order to keep those people around. And that's what Aquarius is trying to teach you not to do. It's saying like, be your own person and, you know, be a part of the group. And Pisces, what it's trying to teach you on the good end is don't be judgmental and just accept people as they are and love people as they are. But obviously both energies can go the wrong way. But like I was saying, that's Saturday. I will talk more about the new moon on Saturday, since that's what's going to be happening Sunday. I need to know, Frutilli, are you here? I did have someone buy a live reading, and I want to know if they are here so I can do their reading, because I have their chart here. Yes, here. Yes. Now, the way they got this is on my Ko-Fi. I do have a thing where when I'm doing my lives, I can do live readings for you. But there's also personal readings if you don't want me to do like a personal, like, because it can get personal. If you don't want me to do it that way, you can do it on the I will consume. But I know that was you. But basically you can go on my Ko-Fi and it's like you can buy a live reading or you can do like a private one, so it's not like out for everybody to see. It's your choice, but I do have that. So I don't want to continuously call you Dick Guillotine, even though it is very entertaining and funny. But I don't think YouTube would like it too much. So what's a nickname you want me to call you while reading your chart to you? So like like fruit almost? Like your thing, or just, is it like fro? Because it looks like Frutilli on here, but if it's fro, I'd rather say it the right way. Okay, so with your chart, what is really interesting, You actually sent, like, you requested for a reading actually on a Virgo full moon, which is the opposite of like what's in your chart, because you actually were born on a Pisces full moon. Like literally like maybe like an hour or two before like the Pisces full moon is when you were born. And so you are a full moon baby. Now, there is so much with full moon. Oh God. So let's see how to start this. Full moons, like I've been talking about, are about completions. It's about like the endings and stuff. So when you're like born practically on a full moon, what ends up happening is you are put like into this space where you're having to learn a lot about things closing off in your life, about how you have to work through certain things not being permanent, and like things are gonna end. Like you're basically given a whole lot of those lessons, like just starting out, it's like out the gate you're just given a whole bunch of those, because that's like your life thing right there. Now you have a Virgo rising, which means your chart ruler is going to be Mercury. So we go over here to Mercury, because this right here, your chart ruler Virgo, we go over to Mercury to see, like, you know, do you have some good aspects to your chart ruler? Do you have things helping you out and making things, you know, easier for you? Because whatever is easier for your chart ruler just makes things easier in life, basically. So if you look here, you don't really have a lot of stuff helping out your Mercury, which means that, you know, on top of being full moon baby, you know, like having those lessons, you're also having a lot of tough lessons when it comes to like the very basis of like who you are, like down like to your soul kind of thing. So this right here, let's just talk about it. Like, what are the difficulties that pretty much just plague you all the time, right? You have Mars squaring your Mercury. Let's just talk about that. It's in your 11th, so it's like, it does have some helpful aspects. So you, like, the 11th house is like the friendships we make, it's the communities we find. It's also like us being able to be out in the world, like finding our audience. Now that's different for everybody. Not everyone's like a content creator or something, you know? Our audience is going to be the people that we connect to, that love like hearing our point of view on the world, the people that just like connect to us and want to be there for us and cheer us on, like our fans. And for one, you have Cancer ruling this house, so you tend to want to find very nurturing friendships. You also want to be able to be a nurturer in your friendships. You want to be able to care for your friends and them not be like, oh, that's cringe. It's like you need to be able to be that person that cares and not be like made fun of for it, because it's just who you are. You're also very driven to be that way with your Mars being that. It's like you find this motivation when it comes to either pursuing these friends that are like your community, that like feel like your soul, basically. It's like this very nurturing like family. Like your friends are your family. Like Cancer is family, so you find friends that are family, or at least that's what you want. Like that is what like lights you up, is when you find people you can connect to that are like family, and then you want to hold on to those. Like you become very like, you know, aggressive in that sense with, you know, your Mars there, because it's almost like because Mars in Cancer, Mars doesn't like being in Cancer. Like, let's just put it that way. It's not happy about it. It's actually exalted in the opposite sign over here in Capricorn, because it's like Mars is naturally ruled by Aries, and Aries energy is very fiery. It's very like run, get it done. It's like that motivation. It's like that's where it likes to be. It's the god of war. It's Mars, Aries. So like having that in Cancer, which is very nurturing and very loving and very cuddly, is like Mars is like, what am I doing here? I am drowning in a puddle, is pretty much what Mars is doing. And it's like, it's hard for you to find the motivation unless you are being nourished, unless you are being loved, unless you are being given these things that make you feel fulfilled emotionally. If you aren't getting these things, your motivation just goes out the freaking window. It's like you cannot make yourself be motivated for somebody who is just an ass to you. It's so freaking hard for you to do that. And it's like, that's probably where you're going to come into a lot of fights, because you have the Mercury in the second house. You have a Libra second house. Your second house is your way to create your own personal income, because 8th house is like how you get money from other people, or like you marry and like have joint finances. Like that's 8th house. Second house is like your own personal stream of income. Like, what are you creating personally? And having your Mercury, your Venus is there too, but I'm not going to talk about your Venus yet. We're going to stay talking about Mercury. Well, actually, no, I will combine them for this very reason. Your second house is ruled by Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus. You have your ruling planet of your second house in your second house, giving it an extra oomph. Now it is also debilitated in Scorpio. It's like you have these things that want to give you oomph in your chart, but then it gets placed in this place where it's like, but you gotta work for it. Because that's what debilitated means. Like, when I say exalted, it means, like, how can I put this? I'm just gonna break it down this way for you guys. Domicile is home in astrology. It's where it's naturally at home. If we take, like, Venus, for example, it is naturally at home in either Libra or Taurus. It's exalted in Pisces. Exalted is like when you're at home, you know, you're comfortable in your home, you speak the language of your home, everyone knows you in your home, you're very comfy. That's what at home feels like. When it's exalted, it's like it's going to a faraway land. But everyone in that faraway land loves them. And they can speak every language and do everything in that faraway land. So it's just so easy. So that's what exalted feels like. It's like it's going somewhere that's not home, but everybody loves it. It's so easy for it to be there. That's what exalted is like. Now, when something is in fall, that means it is usually opposite of its domicile, which is its home. So when you're looking at fall, look at it like you're going to a friend's house. You kind of understand how it works because it's on the same axis. Because, like, if you were to look, your Venus is in fall because it's opposite of Taurus. It's on the Scorpio-Taurus axis. Now, since you're not at home and say you're going to a friend's house, it's like you kind of understand because it's on the same axis. You kind of get the same things because they're sister signs, but you might not understand the rules of the parents. You probably don't understand what you're supposed to do in the house. It's your first time there. This isn't like a friend's house that you live at and you're very comfortable at. This is like the first time going somewhere. They have a very different setup in their house from your house and how things work. Like, do you need to ask for things? Can you just go get a cup of water? Like, you don't know what you can do here. So it makes you very uncomfortable when a planet's in fall. It's almost like you got to do a bunch of extra things. You got to figure out a bunch of extra stuff because it's not comfortable. But that does not mean you can't do it. Like, you can go to a friend's house. It might be awkward figuring it out. It might take going back there quite a few times to kind of understand how things go. But once you understand it, you can make it your home while still kind of having that uncomfy feeling. Now, when something is, oh wait, detriment is what I just meant. Fall is the one where it's just, fall is because think about it. You know how exalted you go to that place and like everyone loves you? Fall is like you go to somewhere because, you know, going to your friend's house, at least you kind of know the neighborhood. Like you kind of know the culture because it's kind of at least similar. The one opposite of exalted, the fall, is gonna be it's like you go to another country, you don't know anybody, you don't speak the language. they all look at you like, who the heck are you? What are you doing here? Like, no one wants to help you. And you're just kind of left struggle bussing because it's like, you don't know anything. You don't know how to do anything. Now, is it possible to figure things out? Yes, but it's harder. You have to work harder. You might have to like find a way to like translate things until you can learn the language on your own because no one's helping you. You might have to like find like resources that you, and that's a whole lot of like what happens is you have to find resources to help you. If you just sit wallowing in your fall planet or whatever, which can happen, if you just sit there wallowing in it, what ends up happening is you just become a victim. And then you sit there in it and you don't like do anything to better yourself. It's like you become a self-sabotaging prophecy, basically, because you just keep telling yourself things and you keep doing those things. It, like I said, it is harder, but it's like the whole thing where people are like, but you had this leg up to do what you do, so it's like harder for me. It doesn't mean it's not possible though. And then you're also a lot more proud when you overcome these things, and you feel a lot more secure in your identity when you overcome these things because you worked so hard to get there. And that's kind of like what can happen to the people that have easy placements is they don't have to work hard to get to the understanding they have, so they take it for granted, and then they can end up having identity crisis because it's like, I didn't really do a lot to get here, so I don't have anything really cementing it. Yes, harder doesn't mean impossible. We don't have impossible things. Like, even like, I want to say this, like, because Striker really likes horror and psychological things, and I was just like showing him serial killer charts and explaining stuff to him. And it's like, if you look at a serial killer's chart, yes, they have some really messed up crap there, but see, this is the whole thing though. If they wouldn't have gone that path and they would have went the other path where they worked on their stuff and got help and everything, they would have been very powerful fucking people. Like, it's crazy. You look at their parts, like their charts, when things go wrong for people that have that kind of power in their chart, they go very, very wrong. And it's like, it's really sad, but things can be overcome. It's just what you decide to do. It's like, what switch are you gonna flip to? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep the light off the whole time and just go like default setting and worse? Because that's what your chart is. Your chart's a default setting, and I want everyone to understand that. Your chart is default. It's you not doing anything. It's just stuff happening. You can take something that's default and make it way worse. And that's what I feel the serial killers do. And the people that have really like bad things that they do to humanity, those people take their default settings and like twerk them the worst way that they can go. If you take your default settings and try your best to keep leveling them up and try to get to the best potential of what you've been given, it's gonna have a lot different look than your default settings. And it's gonna be hard work. It's way easier to fall into your negative aspects of yourself because that's comfortable. And that's the truth. It's way easier to just be a bad person, sadly. And that's why a lot of people fall into doing it, because doing the work and realizing that you're human like everybody else and you have just as much fault in certain situations as other people. Hey, Wolfie. Having... Definitely high. But like but say like you have this, you have like an inner drive to want to be a better person. Like some people do just have that inner drive, to be honest with you. I kind of have that, and it drives me insane on the daily. But it's like when you have that, you become very self-aware of all of your actions, and that's pretty much what it takes to want to be a better person, instead of just sitting and living on your default settings and like coasting through life on those. If you want to be a better person, you have to look deep and see like where you screwed up, because like you might have been a person, like I am a person that has been through tremendous trauma. I could have easily turned the other way and been a very horrible, horrible person and just, you know, took after my trauma. Now, what ends up happening to people is they feel vindicated in their trauma to be bad people. And it's a lot easier, like I said, to go off the rails that way than to be like, you know what, I was done wrong by people and they're human and they're not gonna know any better than any other human. It's like, you know, that kind of thing. But then also looking at where maybe you decided to stay in a situation longer than you should have and like owning up to that, and where like there are certain things you could be doing personally, like on your own, to work through things instead of like putting it off because it's uncomfortable. Like you have to be very real with yourself with where you've been slacking personally, because it's not just the outside world, it's not just out there that is like all to blame for your shaping. It is literally like you have to take responsibility for yourself and want to do that work and want to be a better person. Yeah, exactly. Same. But back to your chart though. So like I was saying, with your second house ruled by Venus, you have Venus in fall, which is why I was talking about detriment, which is why I was talking about, if you guys are hearing slamming doors, that is not in my house, that is a neighbor, and I don't understand why they need to slam their doors like that. It's a little bit ridiculous, but hey, that's how this energy is turning out with Chiron and North Node, and those people tend to be fighting a lot, so they're probably going through some things. Anyways, back to what I was saying. The second house being ruled by Libra, your Venus is in detriment. Now, even though it's in your second house, and like a lot of times, like when you have the ruler of a house in that house, it gives it like an extra oomph. It's like, here is this to help you. Now, since you have that extra oomph in detriment, what ends up happening is it makes it weaker. It makes you, like I said, it makes you have to work for it. So instead of like where you would have had an easy oomph push for your second house, it's almost like, I gotta work harder at this. And so it like almost deflates you a little bit. It can feel very defeating because you could get these ideas, right? Because you have your Mercury in here in Libra. You could get these very beautiful ideas that's like you want to like act these things out, and maybe like acting, but you want to like act these things out where it's like you want to like be able to discuss these plans that you have for making money. And the thing is, Libra is a sign of partnership. So it's almost like you want to be able to have somebody to go into business with. Like this would really help you, like being able to go into business with someone, partner up, be able to bounce ideas, because you have a lot of ideas that come through like your intuition, because you have this in conjunct to your moon. And what that means is like you have this like inner sense that goes off sometimes, and it's not, because inconjuncts are like Uranus energy. It's very unpredictable. So it's not like you're always going to have these brilliant thoughts that just flow into your mind like a constant. It's more like you're sitting there daydreaming, maybe eating a bowl of cereal, and then out of nowhere, bam, you get this, and you're like, oh my gosh, that could be something. And like you get something like that. Now you get these things, but with your Venus being in there in detriment, it's almost like the people you connect with don't have the ability to see your visions. They don't have the ability to, how can I put this? It's almost like finance your ideas, because Scorpio is 8th house energy, which is like other people's finances. So it's like having people that like want to put money into your ideas. It's like, it's going to take you extra work to find the right people. And it's almost like you keep finding people that either abuse your ideas, abuse your good nature, or, make it to where you have to or that make it to where you have to feel like you're always fighting. Because the thing is, your Mercury and your Mars, like they don't want to fight. They're very like docile, because Libra is very like, it's like people pleasing, but it's also how can I put this? It's like the diplomat is the word I'm looking for. It's the peacemaker. So having your Mercury here is almost like you're trying to for this they bought their reading on my Kofi. If you want to do a live reading, they're on there. You just have to put like the exclamation point and the Kofi, and you can go there if you want to see what's on there. But they already purchased their reading through there to do it on here. But if you want to join for the the tarot reading stuff I'm gonna do after this, you can do that. But okay, so back to what I was saying here. So basically it's like you have your Mercury here, so your need for communication is like you have this need to want to make peace. You want to be the diplomat, you want to be the one that smooths things over, and you naturally have an ability to do that. Like you really could be great at making money in situations where you do this specific thing, where you literally are the diplomat in situations. Now, this right here, squaring your Mars, because like I said, it's like in this watery puddle, it doesn't like being there. It's almost like it's making you feel like you have to be passive aggressive to get your way, and it's very irritating to you because you don't want to have to like be like this undercurrent of trying to get people to go in the direction to get things done, because it's like you feel like you're pushing in a way that goes against your sensibilities. Because why can't you guys just do this thing instead of like making me manage you? Because you don't have these placements where you want to manage people. You just want to be able to talk to people and like have your ideas and be like the peacemaker in situations if things are needing to be smoothed over. But you don't want to have to be the one that's like micromanaging people and being like, do this, do this, do this. Like some people have placements where they enjoy that. Like they naturally just enjoy being able to help people along in projects and being able to look over things and like notice when things are like askew and fix it. You don't have that. You don't want to be micromanaging people. If anything, you want to be coasting and like being able to be the idea person, but like the people that you meet up with and that you attract to you, well, at least until you like work through this aspect in yourself, are gonna keep bringing this out in you. People see, that's what I'm saying, like you don't want it. And then people like think you see, this is the whole thing, people think you do because you have a Virgo rising. And Virgo rising, like it gives out like this energy of like, I'm here to serve, I'm here to help, I want to do things that help people. You might be seen as the person that's responsible and put together, but it's the thing is you have Chiron in here too. Like you have Chiron on your ascendant, even though it's in your 12th house. When you have like Chiron on your ascendant, it's like, it's fucking painful, man. I have this. You get so much crap projected onto you that other people aren't dealing with. And then on top of that, it's like you're feeling very lost, because what it does is it makes you almost go into like this sense of feeling like you're nothing and you're worthless a lot, because it's like in your 12th house, and 12th house deals with your sense of undoing, self-sabotage, mental health, all of those things earlier that I was saying with Pisces deals with this house too. So going through having like your wound here, like the Chiron wound that just sits with you throughout life and keeps being brought up over and over again, it's like you want to help people, but you hate being the doormat, and it's like brought up over and over and over and over again, because it's almost like you're in this fight, because that's the full moon energy you have in your chart. You have this fight between the ego that wants to come up and protect you and your very sensitive like emotions over here with your moon in Pisces, these very like deep emotions. Now, since there's always like that fight, it's hard. That's what I'm saying. Like you have a lot of things that it's like, it's hard, but it's not impossible. And what's important is like being able to take the pieces and being able to use them to help you. Because like I said, you have your chart ruler just going through some things over here. So like what you're gonna, because the thing is that's important, your chart ruler rules your ascendant. The reason this is important is your ascendant is what people like see. It's like your person when you're like in contact with people. So if you have things that are not helping your chart ruler or not helping your ascendant, it means when you meet people, this is what you're gonna get. So it's almost like you know your battle when coming into contact with people, and we all have to come into contact with people. There isn't somebody that like can go their whole life without contacting people, because humans are so socially driven. Now, we want to find a way to help your poor Mercury, right? We need to find something that can help Mercury here. Now, if we want to look and see, we have Mercury in Libra. We already looked at your Venus. Now, your Venus does have some nice aspects to it, which means there is stuff you can do that helps this, which can help the second house. Now, it has a trine to Saturn. Saturn's really good with Venus when it's in good aspect, because especially to your money house, this is gonna make you really freaking responsible with money if you can tap into this crap. Because it's like you might have trouble, you know, making money, finding the people that help you make money, like surrounding yourself with the right nurturing people that help you in this sense. But the thing is, what you do make, if you tap into this, because it's your sixth house, it's like daily, like this is just how you work on the daily, you could easily make a stream of income come out of that. So, maybe I should put a thing that says like the astrology live readings are through my Kofi. Tarot live readings I do through here, just in case you guys want to look at that. But the thing that can help you the most, because Saturn, like I said before, oh, also a thing I just realized with you, you're going through your Saturn return, you're going through a whole lot of crap right now. You poor thing. You're having a Saturn return with the pile up in Pisces, you poor, oh my god. Ugh. Okay. It's like, I was going through your other stuff, and then I'm like, this can help you, and it's like, well, it's no wonder you're getting a freaking reading. Like, your Saturn's like, you need help here. So, like, figuring this out will get you money. It's like, what the frick? But, so if you're struggling with money, that's what your Saturn return is trying to help you with right now. Because your Saturn's, like, very closely conjunct to this right now. It's like, you already had the point where it passed over it. Like, earlier, like, in the year earlier, like, probably, like, late last year, it, like, passed over the point of being directly on top. So you probably had like a critical moment that happened around then, but like you're still going to be reeling and going through it for the rest of your Saturn return until Saturn's like out of Pisces. So basically you're having this pile up. You're going to have a new moon in there in your sixth house conjunct your Saturn too, you poor thing. Sixth house Saturn returns are not fun at all. I will go ahead and tell you that much. My Saturn's in the 7th, but I have so much of the energy in my 6th house that the 6th house is the health house. 12th house is mental health, but 6th house is your physical health. So when things go through here and they're meant to teach you lessons, you get lessons through your health in very harsh ways. Now, this is also this is also the house of coworkers. So being, you know, having this detriment over here, it could be that friendships you have made as coworkers could have been some of the stinging points, but you need to like, it's like you're doing the right thing. Like you need those relationships to coworkers, but you need to find the right ones, the stable ones that'll actually help you. So there's a lot of stuff with that. This could also be your pets, because the 6th house does rule domestic pets, and like going through things with them and having these really difficult situations that, because Saturn's all about boundaries, and when it's in Pisces, you're going to be taught so much boundary stuff. Like the collective is feeling this energy, but you're going to be feeling it on a way more heightened level because it's like your personal return. So it's like the stuff you're going to be getting is going to be feeling like a personal attack, especially since it's in your 6th house. So it's like all the day, like every day. It's literally daily routine stuff. What it's probably trying to teach you here is it's probably trying to make you see just how bad your routines are and how bad it's fucking you up in your day-to-day life. Like, it's just out the gate. It's trying to show you that you have habits that are very unhealthy that you need to do to help yourself to be a healthier person, and you've been put through the ringer of like, I can't do this thing, I can't do this thing, and it's like giving you all these restrictions on what you can do. And then what ends up happening is like, you either feel very like suffocated by it and you're trying to escape it, and like you're doing things to like run away from it, which I really hope you're not, because it makes it worse. Oh, is the Kofi thing not working? Is it not showing up? Oh, it's working?
Yeah. Probably it's on YouTube, probably.
Let me check.
You can probably link it on you.
I got a hiccup. Yeah, he put it in there for me, but I don't know. But yeah, they're up there. But whew. But yeah, it's like you're gonna be given oh, it wasn't showing up on Twitch. How dare Twitch? How dare? But
Do you have the coding set wrong?
no.
You think you might have it set wrong so only mods can see it? I'm able to see it.
You're able to let me see. Because if that's the case, then I should be able to fix it, right? Okay. Well, he's gonna look and see if there's like a setting that's making it to where only the mods can see the links or something, and see if he can fix it. Because sometimes, I don't know, they've been making so many new things on Twitch, and then they just have like things auto set a certain way that I don't know if they might have done something like that, and I have no idea. Oh, is it MoveOt? I don't know. Let me see.
But if it's not showing up,
Yeah, if you guys can't see it, just let him know and he'll do it. Yeah, see, and that's what I mean too, because when I went through Saturn doing stuff in my 6th house, I had a pile up kind of like what you're going through in yours, except mine was in Capricorn. And I went through almost being taken off the planet and having to fight my way back to being able to walk and eat and like all kinds of stuff. It was like the whole gambit of everything is like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not gonna happen that way for everybody. I want people to understand this because I can sound very scary. If you have 6th house stuff and you're going through, so that does not mean you're gonna have what happened to me and be put in that kind of situation. Mine is kind of unique in the sense that I have Uranus in my 6th house, which is this guy right here. But I have Uranus and Neptune in my 6th house, which cause a lot of messed up health issues. And on top of that, Uranus is a very lit up point in my chart that gets a lot of activity. And then on top of that, it's also squaring Mars, which is your physical like vitality. So I have issues straight up with physical vitality and my health and things being unpredictable and crap happening to me. And just a very weird life because it's my 6th house. You have some instances like this because your 6th house is ruled by Aquarius, so it's going to have Uranian aspects to it where unpredictable things happen to you, and it's harder for you to get a routine because things are so unpredictable. And having a Virgo rising, it's hard because like you identify with trying to have some kind of like organization, but it's just very fleeting and is like a wound around like I can't get my life together with that as well. But like I said, having Saturn here is a lot different than the Uranus Neptune I have. This is trying to bring structure to your 6th house. I don't have anything trying to bring structure to my 6th house. It's just like whatever. But you have Saturn here that is trying to bring you structure to your 6th house, and it's going to bring it through, you know, the health scare that's like, you know, making you overhaul your life, making you work through things. And same here. I'm telling you, when you like see, it's like you see the planets and everything, but it's these aspects in here, these lines, they give you a lot of information. Like if, let's see, do you have yeah, see, let's talk about this. You have the Uranus square, but you have it with something else. So you don't have it with Mars, you have an opposition with Mars. So it's almost like this uphill battle with your physical vitality. But since it's in your 5th house and it's not like your 6th house, this is more like when you get like, well, it's a couple things. It could either be because some people don't want children. It depends on if you want children or not. If you want children, it can be that children are very demanding on your health. Things are very unpredictable with children. Boundaries with children are very hard, and it's almost like not knowing whether to have a soft fist or like a more iron grip. It's like having a big struggle with that when trying, like when dealing with children. It doesn't have to be your children, it can be other children too, just not having boundaries with you, and like that being an issue. And then if it's not specifically children, this is also the house of creativity. So it's like having this kind of push-pull thing with your creativity where it's like, you know, you get this motivation and then you lose it, and it's very unpredictable, and it makes you feel even less motivated because it's like you're always fighting this uphill battle to get anything done. And it's draining, and you just feel like your resources get drained anytime you try to put effort into it. And even if things seem to go well, there might be something like a wrench that gets thrown in because you have Uranus in there. So something unpredictable comes in to like shake things up if you feel like you're finally getting something going. And it's like, it's very frustrating. And you have this square between Mercury and Uranus and Neptune. Now, what this can do, like you have a T-square actually, because you have the whole thing that's called like it's called a T-square. But having this square between Mercury and Neptune and Uranus is going to make it to where it's like sometimes your thoughts, especially since Mercury's in your 2nd house, like your thoughts around money and the way that you bring money into your life can get very dark. Like it can snap to a place that's not very healthy because that square brings a lot of tension. And it's like this feeling of like what I'm passionate about doesn't give me money, and it like makes you very like, it's almost like you're bursting at the seams. But it can also do this thing since it's squaring Neptune where it can make you have because Neptune's delusions. So when you're having a harsh aspect with that, it can bring a lot of confusion as to like what you're actually passionate about. Like you don't know really what you're good at, and you're like struggling to figure out like what your thing is, because it's like you're always fighting with yourself with this like inner tension of like, am I actually good at that? It's like having a very built-in imposter syndrome. And it's like, even if you're very good at something, and even if you're very talented at something, you have this internal doubt that springs up randomly because of Uranus. It's like, it can just, it's not like it always is there. It can be this thing that like hits you at this, like you could be having a great time making something, creating something, doing something that you love. And then all of a sudden you get this random, very dark thought about like just tearing down everything you know how to do. And it's like, it just puts a dark cloud all over everything. It just immediately saps your motivation. It makes you want to like pull away from people. It doesn't make you want to talk to anybody because it puts you in such a dark place. And then your value, because even though 2nd house is like money, like the way we make money, it's also our personal value. It's our value system. And you having this like feeding into your value system makes it where it's like, you could easily like go to people and be like, well, if they find me useful, it's like, at least there's that, because I don't see myself as being useful. And then you get used in that way, and it perpetuates your wound. So it's like this big thing with like overcoming the need to bend over backwards for people that wouldn't do the same for you. And more than likely you've done that to a sense to where your health has suffered. And that's why Saturn has come in on your Saturn return and been like, you haven't learned how to stand up for yourself yet. You haven't learned how to value yourself yet. So I'm here to teach you that. I'm going to give you a health scare. I'm going to make you sit back because you have no choice and make you take inventory of your life and make you realize where you can do things instead of feeling like you're a victim to it. Because like your moon in Pisces is like going to lend your emotions to feeling like you're a victim of circumstances, because that's what happens with Pisces energy when it's being like pushed down and boxed in and it's feeling scared and like it's not being seen. It starts becoming very victim mindset, which is why it's important to actually have that worth. And you're being taught a lot of lessons around like valuing yourself, and also like you have to learn how to find value that's disconnected from money, because that's what this is showing you here. Like, because you have this trine between your Venus and Saturn. So this Saturn return is like trying to fill you with a sense of self-value and self-worth, because that's what it's pouring into right now is your Venus. It's like, learn to value yourself. And if not, then we're going to keep giving you these lessons to where you have to learn to value yourself. Now, you're probably not going to, depending on the work you're doing with this current situation, once Saturn gets to your descendant, I don't know if you're currently in a relationship, but I will tell you how this went for me. When Saturn was in the 6th house, it was very on me. Like, it was my health, it was everything about me falling to pieces. When it hit my descendant, which is this line right here, your 7th house, when it hit there, at that time I was in a relationship that I'd been in for a very long time. And when I say a long time, I mean like over a decade. I was in this relationship. As soon as it hit here, the illusion I had over that relationship completely disappeared through the circumstances I was being shown with how poorly I was being treated because of my health. And then it just snowballed into this thing where it was like the rose-colored glasses broke. I saw the relationship for what it was. And then it was very painful because not only did I not have my health, I didn't have my job. I had 2 jobs that I lost, that I went to school for, that I couldn't work in anymore because of my health. I lost literally everything. I had to go through bankruptcy because the people I was with refused to help me in the situation, saying it was my fault that I was in the situation because I have a rare illness that attacks my liver. So when it hit my descendant, I got so many things shown to me in that relationship where it was like, I can't stay here. And once it moved away and it was finally like in another sign, it was in an Aquarius when it moved out of Capricorn, that's when I left that relationship. I was finally able to get out. This whole thing right here, oh, don't feel sorry, hun. Like, I'm in a good place now. I'm healing through these things. But the thing is, I want to tell you about this because if you're in a relationship and in any way, if you're being the rose-colored glasses thing like I was, I really hope you're not. But if you are, you're not going to be able to hide from it. It will come out. You'll have to see it. You'll have to deal with your relationship. Now, if you're not in a relationship, like say you're single and you're going through this, what can happen is when it goes into your 7th house, if you've been working on these things with Saturn, if it goes into your 7th house, it's going to reward you. Because it'll be like, you worked so hard, you got your health in order, you got your boundaries in order, you dropped people out of your life that were using you and being horrible to you. It's like, if you did the things it wanted, it'll bless you once it gets in your 7th, possibly with a relationship that you really need to feel supported and nurtured and loved in. Like, it'll just do that, but you have to do the work. and things will keep getting like building and building and building until it gets to your descendant. I'm not sure when Saturn is going to be at 17 degrees. I know currently right now it's at like 9 or 10, so it's going to take a little bit. But if you want to like look into an exact date of when like Saturn in Pisces is going to like go like to 18 degrees or like past 17 degrees, then it's like you can aim for that. Like you can aim for that date. Like by this date, I'm going to get this stuff in order, because like you'll have a goal for things. Like you'll have a goal set for like getting your health in order, getting this going, getting this set up, dropping this person out of my life because they're using me. It's like you'll have these goals where it's like, this is gonna get better because I'm doing this, instead of feeling like you're just a victim of circumstance, where it's like, I'm losing everything, I have no friends, I don't have my health. As soon as you turn that around and you're like, screw this, I want to be happy, I'm going to take control of all of these things because I want to be freaking happy, I want to have a good life, then things shift, because it's the mindset. And that's what you're being taught here with your Mercury, is mindset. Like, you need to learn to break free of victim mindset and be like empowered with the whole like, I understand why I've been through the things I've been through, and I'm very grateful for where I am because of it. It's like you switch the whole mindset of it, and then things flow in differently. You attract different people, because when you're in this kind of mindset, you're going to pull people to you that are either victims themselves or wanting to have victims. You got to think about that. Like when you're very like vulnerable and you don't have boundaries, you're going to bring people to you that want to use you. Like that's a very like blunt way of putting it, but that's just pretty much how it is. Like if you don't have boundaries where you can say no and respect yourself, you're gonna have people around you that are using you, whether they know it or not, because you know you're also at fault because you're not saying anything. And that's for everybody, not just specifically you. But yes, but I'm gonna leave you with that. It went a little longer than I intended, but I'm gonna leave you with those tidbits of stuff to work on, because it is a lot to work on, but at least you have like a direction, like an arrow to go after. But yes. And then what we're gonna do now, since I went over all the astrology, of course, is we're gonna do something fun for everybody. What I want to do is I'm going to, I don't know if like how many people have done this, I know some people have, but it's an interesting thing where it's with tarot, that it's where everyone can be involved. And what I'll do is I'll make like groups, and you can pick a group, what it is, like a number, like whatever I decide, but you pick a group and then you're going to get a message from that group that's specific for you. It's like on the internet, it's called pick a cards. I honestly don't know why it got that name, but okay. But that's what it's called on the internet. But really, you're going to be picking a group, and then as chat, you guys will get to decide what you guys like, you know, kind of like vote on what you would like the reading to be about. Like, do you want like career advice? Do you want love advice? Do you want a more like a general like overview, things like that? So that way like everyone can kind of like put in their 2 cents and decide like, hey, this is what I kind of want. If you guys want to go general, there's always the chance that you'll pick something that's literally very specific anyways. So it's really up to you guys if there's like anything on your mind, but I'll get that set up, and then we'll do that. So first I need to turn on a light. Well, actually, can you turn on the light, please? For the, because it'll be easier to actually see. No, my other one did, but it, see, okay guys.
I don't know.
It might be, I don't know.
You can use my phone or something.
But so basically what happened when I did tarot the other week, I found out that the reason it was being buggy and weird is it's broken. Yay. So that camera is broken, and that was my good camera. I was surprised it even made it through that live. And so I have another camera that's not as good, but I have to wait until like I can afford another camera that's better in the meantime. But you guys should still be able to see things on there. It's just not going to be like it's not up to my sense of quality. Okay, I'm a Taurus Venus. I have quality standards.
And I am not a part of your quality assurance.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. We need to turn that off. And then turn this on. There we go. You guys can kind of see it. Okay. And don't mind the kitty hairs. My kitty will not stay off of this freaking thing no matter what I do. So. Oh. You know, I was about to ask you guys, what do you want? But the first card that's jumping out is the Eight of Pentacles. So, I'm just going to read on chat with the Eight of Pentacles for a second while you guys decide what kind of thing you want. Eight of Pentacles deals with mastery. It deals with putting a lot of work in to something to master it. Now, there's a lot of details in this. It could be speaking to a few things because Pentacles is physical. It's real things. It's literally touch it, you know? Like, you know, money, even though a lot of money is literally electronic now, it's still money. Pentacles is money. So this is like putting in a lot of work when it comes to mastering something that either is going to make you money or it's going to make your physicality better. It can be like, you know, an exercise routine. It can be something like that. But it really comes down to being able to have the willpower to stay the course. Because in the Rider-Waite, the original tarot, what's happening in this card is someone's like isolated themselves away from like the town and everything, and they're like working on mastering a craft by themselves where they cannot be interrupted. So this kind of lends to the Pisces energy that we're in, where it can feel like we're needing to isolate ourselves to get things done so that we're not distracted. There's this big thing here about just being able to focus on what's actually important. Career reading. I mean, this is already like leading into that, so it might be a good pick a card to do the career reading. But it really wants you to focus on what you can do, improvements you can make, instead of focusing on everything you can't do, because those are distractions. Those are keeping you from doing the work. Like if you feel like you keep going to things and it's pulling you away from stuff, it's trying to get you to realize like to focus. So that's what this is saying. We want focus. That's the first thing that came out, though it's kind of funny that's wanting you guys to focus and I was asking a question. But what we can do, we'll do career. So the way this works is I'm going to let's make 3 groups. We'll do 3 readings. We'll do 3 groups. So you can decide on group 1, 2, or 3. Just decide in your mind. Pick a number. Just pick a number, guys. Pick your number. If you want to put your number in chat of like what your number is, so that way you can see if that number like really resonates with you, that would be pretty cool too. But I'll do 3. So 1, 2, or 3. And I'll do tarot, and then I'll also pull out some astrology oracles. So Ruby got the 3. Oh, you guys are both 3. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna start with group 1 first. If you're a silent one, let's see what's going on. And of course this will be on, I'll edit and just make this its own separate video after, so the pick a card can be up there for people that want to watch it afterwards. So let's see. Group 1. What's going on with career for my... Oh, okay, for my group 1s. We have the Emperor. Ooh. So group 1s. First thing out with the Emperor. That's some power. My group 1s. This is either saying that already there's this sense of either you need to feel comfortable with power, you need to feel comfortable with stepping into being a leader, because the Emperor is like the leader, the ultimate leader. You need to be comfortable stepping into that. This could also be, if you are the leader of your business, it could be like your own business or starting your own business. Could be this kind of energy too, like if that's something you've been thinking about. So these came out together. We have the 5 of Swords and then the 10 of Swords. This coming out together, 5 of Swords is being petty. Like this is like you got some pettiness around you. And 10 of Swords is like pain, but it's also the end of a cycle. So I feel like these coming out together, if you've been dealing with petty ass people, because this is like you're having to deal with people that don't know how to stay out of your business, that don't know how to quit taking your shit, that don't know how to quit taking credit for your work. Like this is just petty, like people right here that you're dealing with, and they're causing you a lot of mental anguish. A lot of like the communication just sucks. This 10 of Swords is showing like this whole cycle has sucked, but at least it's a 10. At least it's ending, which is probably why you're stepping into this energy. It's saying like the reason you're stepping into this is because you're sick and tired of this cycle. So stepping into this is like it's like expediting this. It's like saying, okay, I'm done with this. I'm in this now. Is pretty much what's happening. And then a change of perspective with the Hangman. And then let's see, bottom of the deck, you have the Knight of Wands for the under the deck. So this Hangman, this shift, being able to be out of this situation is going to shift your guys' perception on like what you actually want to do. Because I feel like you guys have been stuck, my group 1s have been stuck in this environment, whatever kind of crappy situation this is, you've been stuck here, you're ready to end it, and through ending the cycle, you end up coming to terms with like something, like whatever it was that wasn't working for you, but you're also realizing what did work for you, and you're able to like take action, which is this Knight of Wands. Like your overall energy with the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Wands. It's literally like this movement, being able to like boldly step forward, be courageous, like this Emperor energy. It's like it could have been what ended this situation as you finally stood up for yourself. That could be Emperor energy too. And then seeing like you standing up for yourself ended this situation, and it made you go, well man, I guess they really didn't want me like, you know, being proud of my work or whatever this situation was where they were super petty. It's like it shifts it, because before what it could have been is you could have been devaluing yourself. You could have been thinking that they had a reason to say these things to you. You could have been thinking that what they were saying is true. What could come after this is you realizing that everything they said was because they're petty and jealous and rude, and they were just saying it as a way to give me just a second. They were saying it as a way to like keep you down, to make you feel less than. And then like looking back, you're seeing through a different perspective over here with the Hangman that that's not the case. You actually were very capable, this Emperor very capable, enough capable to do it yourself, but they didn't want you to see that. So it's like being able to like change this whole mindset around the fact that what they said was true when it's not, and being able to like this right here, boldly like ram them with your shield forward, is the energy like you're stepping into. Now let's see. So that's pretty cool. even though it sucks. I mean, I personally have been in that kind of situation, and it messes with your head to have someone who's either over you, same level as you, whatever it is, constantly like either attack, like literally I was attacked, but like attacking you, or tearing you down, or just like taking out all their frustrations on you for things they didn't do right, and then blaming you for the things that they didn't do right. Like it does a lot to your psyche, and it makes you feel like you are the problem, when in reality, when you actually are not part of the problem anymore and you look back at it, you realize that there's still just as much the problem and you're not there. So let's see if we can see my group number ones. What I want to do with this astrology, I will keep that since it tried to flop out. But what I want to do with the astrology section is get like a little advice moving forward in the career, because this is like the career situation. Let's get some advice moving forward for my group number ones for career. Okay, so we have conjunction. We have the first one. That is okay. This is very interesting. This is beautiful. Okay. Advice. This advice is really interesting because it's basically it's 11th house, which is, you know, the house of friends. It's the house of like-minded people being able to do things that are more like for humanity as opposed to like the individual. And then like this conjunction is like a union, merging, coming together energy. So it's almost like the advice, or at least like, you know, the, how can I, like, this is almost like something to look forward to, I feel, because it's almost like you're going to, stepping out of this situation, you're going to be meeting people who actually are your people. Like, because this is career. So you're meeting people in your career. Once you leave this crappy situation and you see that you weren't the problem, you're going to be meeting people. And not only meeting them, but you have this cardinal energy of starting things with them. So this very well could be starting a business with people. For those of you that are like wondering that, it's like you just left something that was horrible. It did a number on your mental, and you don't know if like you could trust going into business with people. Like this is really trying to help you see that there's good people coming in that are going to help you. There's also this pioneering spirit with cardinal energy. Sorry if I bumped the camera, but there's this pioneering energy, which is literally the Knight of Wands, which is like having courage, going forward, starting the thing, whether that's starting the new job and you're afraid if people are, they're going to like you. The new job is going to like you. This past experience where these people were shit to you is not happening again. Like that was a past thing. So try not to carry that with you. If you're starting something completely brand new where it's like your own thing, then you're going to meet people either that you're collabing with or that people that want to work with you, because there's so many aspects to a business when like you're a sole like business like on your own, that you end up like either making friends, hiring out certain aspects of work. Like just think of like content creation as something like you hire out for editors and like different things of people that have how can I put this, that they have like the talents and stuff. Because if you were every single thing for everything you do, you would be completely burnt out and not have the passion to do the things that you love to do, which is what I think a lot of people need to realize. We need community, which is this right here, to help us bring our dreams to life, as opposed to thinking we need to do everything on our own. And then the star is underneath, which is like your hopes and wishes, which is also the 11th house, your hopes and wishes. So it's like what you're hoping for is going to happen. Just try to stay away, group ones, from this nasty right here. If you're still in this energy, know that it's okay to leave it. Like there's better out there for you. Don't feel like you're stuck. Do it in a smart way. Like if you need your bills paid, try to get something saved up first, or at least get something in order so that way you can, or at least get another job lined up before you leave that job. But yeah, that's pretty much what's happening for my group ones. It's exciting meeting new people. So let's see. We are moving to group 2. My group 2s for their career. What is going on? What's my group twos? Oh. I'll be honest, group twos, you guys are a little messier to shuffle. It's like you guys are stubborn. Oh my god. I can't make this up. You guys are stubborn. King of Pentacles. If anyone's gonna be the king of stubborn, it's that guy. But okay, you want to be fine. Okay, it's fine. What, did you pick pile 2?
I don't think I picked any. Wasn't paying attention.
But yeah, King of Pentacles is, I mean, it's great for a career reading. No joke. Like, King of Pentacles, he gonna get he's got money, he can make money. He's got the money that can make legacy, you know, that kind of thing. He has the patience, the stamina. But like I said, a bad side of King of Pentacles is extremely stubborn. It's earth energy. Like, they ain't gonna go anywhere unless you really, really coax them to. So, let's see what else for pile 2 is gonna come out here. Well, I feel like this one. How stubborn are you guys? How? Knight of Pentacles. How stubborn is this group? I mean, you guys are money makers, I'll tell you that much. King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, you're like, even if it takes me for freaking ever, I'm gonna get that money, because that's Knight of Pentacles. Like, he is slow and steady, wins the race, like, on crack, basically. Like, he puts the tortoise to shame with his amount of patience and slowness. But it's like, literally, career reading, you guys are getting nothing but pentacles, so that's nice. Let's see what else we get here. I'm wondering if we're gonna get something besides the fact that you guys can make money in this Knight of Wands. And okay, so I see you guys, because we have 10 of Swords here. You guys are my workaholic group. My pile 2s are the workaholics. You're the ones that are like working yourself into the ground. You have the ambition to be working yourself into ground, possibly to the detriment of your health. And you're in this 10 of Swords energy. It's your overarching energy. It's like you're in this pain of like silent suffering almost with all this. Like, I had this feeling the whole time of suffering. I'm like, why am I, while I'm shuffling, like, why is it so hard for your guys' cards to come out? Why are you guys getting this very stubborn earth energy? Like, it's great for making money, but it's almost like you guys are just devoid of the real. It's like, it's almost like you guys want this Knight of Wands. You want this passion, but you feel stuck in this 10 of Swords over here, which is very painful. It's like, literally, in the Rider-Waite is a person that's laying on the ground that's literally stabbed by all the swords. It's not like a peaceful experience. You're not like drifting through life on this. Like, if anything, your mental landscape is not pretty. And it's like you're fighting through trying to end these cycles that you have mentally, because even if people are seeing you be successful, you're not gonna feel successful. And that's like the crux of this. It's like, you can have money, you could have like accumulated things, you could like have the ambition to go and do things, but like mentally you feel like you're going in circles and not going anywhere. Even it could be made worse by people telling you that you're doing a great job and they wish that they were in your position, because then you feel like you can't complain. You don't have anyone that you can talk to because your position is above someone else's position. And like, this is this feeling of like being stoic and having to act like nothing's wrong, always pushing forward, even though it's like on the inside, like you're this really messy, jagged, sword-laden landscape on the inside. So let's see. Even though this is career for you guys, I feel like it's trying to, I feel like my 2s are being told that it's okay. It's okay that you feel this way. You're human. just because other people look up to you and other people feel that you're their rock and other people feel like you're the one that's always the one that has to keep things together, it doesn't mean you can't open up. It doesn't mean you can't be vulnerable, because people need to see that you're human, because as it is, they're seeing you as superhuman, and that's not healthy. And if the people around you cannot respect you when you're human, then they don't really respect you. They just respect what you can do for them. And that's like a very harsh cycle you're going to have to end yourself, because that's the Ten of Swords. It's looking at things that need to end, because like carrying it brings you so much pain, and it's not worth it to carry it anymore. Like all this like mental pain that you're carrying around like the things you do, the way people talk to you, what people say to you, what people have said to you, what it means to be successful, what it means to be happy, all these things that people have put in your mind. You need to step back and ask yourself what those things are personally for you, not what these other people are saying. Like if having money isn't making you happy, you need to step back and realize like there's a reason for it. There's something you're not looking at that's like keeping you from feeling fulfilled having these things. So let's see what your advice is with the astrology. Fire. This is more passion, the fire element. Like this is telling you to lean more into your Knight of Wands, which is very it's like the Knight of Wands doesn't do things for security. The Knight of Wands does things because they are inspired. They do things because they're lit up on the inside and their soul's on fire, and they want to be able to pursue things that light them up like that. And that's the advice they're giving you, is to like follow the things that do that for you, as opposed to the things that everyone has been telling you that has made this mental landscape that is supposed to make you happy. And then we have like, see, and this would help you guys too, because what I feel is happening for you guys is you've been surrounded by people and probably even programs, what you read on the internet, all that stuff that has shaped your mental landscape into what success is and what happiness is. And what you need is to find your passion, and then find people who enjoy your passion. Make friends with people that enjoy the things you're passionate about, because you don't need to make money from your passion. I want to go ahead and tell you guys this might be something that the pile twos need to hear. If you feel that money like needs to be tied to everything, you don't need to make money from your passion. If you have a stable income that you're doing, and you have a passion that's completely separate from that you just do because you enjoy it, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. This crazy hustle culture that we've all like evolved into, where like any interest we have to make money off of it, can be very sickening to some people. And for you guys, it might be like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to become bored of the thing that makes me happy. And it's like you just stay away from doing the things that make you happy because you don't want to have to like turn it into a monetary thing. You don't have to do that. Keep your stability and then do your passion. And as you're doing your passion, as you're like figuring out what makes you tick, not what the world says makes you tick, as you're figuring out what makes you tick, you'll find people. You'll find a bunch of people that really like the same things, that you guys can build things together, that you guys can like have fun experiences together, that makes this heaviness fall away and makes you realize that, you know, this nasty self-talk you've had for a long time about what is happiness and what is success just isn't true. And it's going to take time. And well, it'll take time because of Square, because of challenges. But it's not going to be easy. It literally says a mountain to climb. It's not going to be easy for you guys, because this is very ingrained that making money means I'm successful, and if I'm successful, success means I'm happy, and if I'm happy, I don't need to complain. It's like you guys have this running thing of this like line of thought, and it's not true. Like just because you make money doesn't equate success. Like around, like everyone's idea of success is objective, subjective, all of it. Like it's all over the place. So like what you have taken in make sure it lines up with you personally, because it doesn't matter if it lines up with other people. You don't live with the other people. Well, you might live with them if that's them doing it, but it's the person that has to deal with how you feel on a daily basis is you. So if you're feeling gross about the way like you're approaching money, if like you feel gross about the fact that people are saying like you need to make your passions into money, then don't do that. You don't have to. Find something else that, you know, just makes the money, that keeps the bills paid, and then do the thing that makes you happy. And like, don't let people tell you no to it, because your stuff's taken care of. It doesn't matter. Just, like, do the thing. It'll feel weird. It'll be challenging because there's going to be a lot of people that built this up, whether if it's people in your life that did that, or it's like the internet or whatever you've taken in. It's going to be awkward breaking down those structures of what you've built up in your mind to get to this place, and it's going to be hard, but it'll be worth it. So for you guys, it was less of career and more of the fact of you don't have to make your passions into careers. You can just have fun with it. Let's see. So that's my threes. Let's see what comes through for the threes. Whew. Let's see. Careers for my threes. Let's see. Deep breaths. Okay, so Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is very fast. It's very fast communication. It's very fast talking. We have Page of Pentacles. A new idea, but it's like a concrete idea. Something that can be like made real, or studying, because Page of Pentacles is studying. We have Page of Swords, more studying. And then let's see, this bottom of the deck. Oh, Nine of Pentacles. Okay. So, with this group, what's happening, for one, some very fast ideas. You guys have either been talking a lot about things you want to do, or you've been thinking a lot of things you want to do. Like, this is a lot of ideas and communication. This is also, just go back in school. Well, look, it's already like lining up with you. So this is like just basically, this forward movement that's really being propelled by information, because that's what this Knight of Swords is communication, information. It's being able to go forward because like either things are like becoming clearer, or like you're getting the insight you need. But it can also make you got to be careful with this, because it's so quick that you could put your foot in your mouth. It can do, how can I put this? It's like it can have an impatience where you don't think before you speak, or you don't think before you send a message. You don't, like, because there's so much rapid information that you could end up like making a mistake. So just be careful with that. Especially in the Pisces energy right now, because Mercury and Pisces, just, you know, like I said earlier when we were going over all the astrology, it can make things very like confusing and very foggy. So just make sure, like, this would probably be a group where you're like double checking things and just making sure you're not rushing too far ahead. And then we have Page of Pentacles. Hey, Queenie. So Page of Pentacles is like, both, I'm gonna say both of these at the same time. Page of Pentacles and Page of Swords. Pages are like you're starting something new. You're like at the beginning of something, and it's exciting. It's like you haven't explored this yet. You're like the very beginner student. Even if you're not in school, it's like you're very new to a subject area. You're very new to learning about something. And what this ends up doing, I'll eat after I'm done.
Okay.
But what can happen with Page of Pentacles is a lot more physical. So this is gonna be like you're having like this new almost It could be money. It could be like a money idea, like a way to make money. It could also be like physically doing something new with yourself, like a new routine or something like that. But this is all about trying to create new things that are reliable, that are dependable, and that like create structure in your life, because you guys have a lot of air energy. So it's almost like you guys are also getting like this new way of like grounding yourself and not feeling like you're always floating off into everything that you're thinking about, because you guys are a lot deeper in your air energy, where it's like you're a lot more in your head, but you're finally learning how to bring it down and like find a way to solidify it, find a way to do something with it, find a way to concretely study it. And then with the Page of Swords, hello, with the Page of Swords, what ends up happening is like this new information you're getting, you are becoming almost like a detective, because that's what this Page of Swords does, is it's like the sleuth. Whereas the Knight of Swords is like rushing forward. It has information, it has things, it's communicating, it's throwing things out there. That's why like mistakes can happen. What's different with the Page of Swords is the Page of Swords, since it's learning, it's trying to find information. It's the sleuth, it's the detective, it's the one that's like going in and like finding the new ways of like either understanding things or finding the new ways of working through things and like trying to implement those things. It's like you're using your Page of Swords energy to give your Knight of Swords what it needs to move forward. So it's needed. So having both of these, it's like you're having this new start with all this new information, all these new ways of doing things, or at least one new way of doing things that you're trying to cement, and that you're very new at doing this. So you need to give yourself some grace, because this is being very new to bringing your ideas down and doing something with them, like concretely doing something with them. So like give yourself grace while you're starting to do this, because this, your overarching energy, is the Nine of Pentacles. Now, Nine of Pentacles is like self-made. And for those of you that really want independence, this is the independence card. This is you having your independence. This like overarching energy of I want independence. I want stability. I want this for myself. So that's like your overarching energy. So what could be happening with you guys is this need inside you for independence. Like to have like your own life, your own money, your own this, your own that, can be what's bringing all these new opportunities in and making you want to go forward and making you want to learn and making you want to talk to people. Because this is also talking to people. Like I said, you could put your foot in your mouth by talking too much, my motto for this year. But you could be like, you know, saying too much, whatever it is. But it's giving you this urge to want to go out and like either share things you're learning or like talk to people to learn more. It's giving you like this urge to move, because it's not like just actively pulling it in and learning it with the pages. It's like you're creating movement with this. Now, it's not physical movement. It's not Knight of Pentacles. It's not Knight of Wands. It's not like that kind of thing, but it is a lot of mental movement. You're moving around the way you think about things. So in a way, it's almost like you're creating your own hangman moment. But it's almost like you're creating your own new way of thinking. It's like you're training your mind with these new things you're learning with the pages. You're training your mind to attack life in a different way. Like the way you approach situations, you're learning to have a different mindset, and that mindset leads back to you wanting independence, you wanting to have more independence. So if you keep feeding into this, then you're going to keep moving forward with this. Though I do think what's going to need to happen in the future for you guys is getting more, which it'll happen if you're applying yourself, getting more like practical ways of like pulling this out of ideas and making it tangible. So let's see, what's your advice? Let's see, let's get you guys' advice. You guys got fire too. Okay. We got that passion. That's why I told you guys. Your advice is to find the passion. And let's see. Oh. And Venus. So this is all about giving and receiving love and finding value and seeing the beauty. So, I mean, definitely matches with what, and you guys have square at the bottom too. So it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be this easy flow into it for you guys, obviously. I mean, you're trying to make air energy into earth energy. It's hard. It's not easy. So, main thing, find what you're passionate about, which is all this searching, all this air energy is helping you search. It's helping you find. So find what makes you happy, find what makes you light up. And it's like, it almost feels like you're not putting energy into it to do it. That's how you know you're passionate about something, is like you're just doing it, and it's like it doesn't feel like you're running out of energy. It's like you have to tell yourself to stop and eat and stop and do things because it's like you're just excited to do it. So that's how you can kind of figure out if something is making you passionate and that you're excited about it, as opposed to you're just forced to do things. And then with Venus over here, it's like it's telling you guys to learn how to receive for this group, because it's almost like you guys are used to the giving part, which is probably why you guys are trying to become more independent. You want to be more of your own person. So like having that energy, it's like you need to learn you can be independent and still get help from people. There's a difference, because we're all human. We all need help sometimes. We all need people to talk to. We need shoulders to lean on. It's human nature. So even though you want to be very independent, it doesn't mean that you don't have connections to people. It doesn't mean you don't have friends. It doesn't mean that you don't have people that you lean on, that you can trust. What it means is you have boundaries and you have a sense of worth that is your own, that doesn't get like kicked around by somebody else. That's what independence is. Like, you can have independence and be a stay-at-home mom. It just really depends on what you're doing, like with your boundaries and with yourself. It really is a mental like thing you guys have to learn, which is what you're in right now. You're in this thing of like switching your ideas around, learning to change your mental scape. So it's pretty much what it is. It's just the squares, like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult to do this, but you can do it. Just take the steps at a time. Like, take the stuff you're learning, apply it in, small increments, because the earth energy is something you guys are reaching for and you're very new to. So it's like, give yourself like small goals instead of like humongous goals. Give yourself small goals. That helps you rewire your mental to where you're able to have more time to do things you're passionate about. Because once you rewire your mental and you kind of restructure your time to where you can do that, things will flow better for you, but it'll take some getting used to. But yeah, that's what I see for my group 3s. And I think I'm going to probably end here for today, because I am hungry. I do want to get something to eat, and I'm not one of those that can sit here munching in front of you guys. Of course, I want to do more of these. I want to get a better camera because my good one broke, but I do want to get a better camera, and I want to do more where I do like group stuff for you guys, so that way like you can pick, more people can get messages, just like how I do like the collective astrology reads, but then also sprinkling in personal reads and stuff too. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this here, and then oh wait, the only other thing I want to say is I've had this really cool idea that I want to tell you guys about before I go. Obviously, like, I rebranded my YouTube to like Weeb Astrology and Tarot for a reason. Obviously I love anime and stuff, but one thing I really want to do, I want to create a Sailor Moon series where I go through each of the Sailor Scouts and use them to explain astrology to you all, because I feel like it would be a lot of fun. I have, obviously like ideas and everything, but I want, what it would be is I still want to do it live with you guys. I don't want to do you know, videos offline and like all that kind of crap. I still want to do it live with you guys. So basically what I'll do is I will find, like, we'll pick a Sailor Scout, like say I pick Sailor Moon, like, and we'll do that during a live, and we'll like watch clips that like show the archetypes of all the energies. Like if it was Sailor Moon, we'd be looking at moon energy for the planet, we'd be looking at Cancer energy for the zodiac, and fourth house for the astrological chart, because that's what all of those encompass. The moon, Cancer, and the fourth house encompass those energies. So we'd be looking through using Usagi as like the base and going through clips of how she like shows all the different energies of those things, so you can see it in real time what those energies kind of look like played out. So I thought that would be a lot of fun, and I kind of like have some structure written up for how I would do it, but the only thing is I haven't found like video clips yet that I want to use because I'm getting it structured out. But I still would want to do it live with you guys, so it's like it'd be like live learning, but then like I'd be able to put it on YouTube and just like cut it to where it's just that section of the video that's, you know, that part of it being the Sailor Moon series. But it'd be fun. It'd be through everything too. It'd be like Sailor Moon all the way through Sailor Pluto, so it'd be like everybody and who like they connect to and stuff. I might have to do a little side note when it comes to Sailor Venus and Tuxedo Mask, because like Sailor Venus obviously is Venus, Taurus and Venus, but I do feel like Tuxedo Mask really highlights Taurian attributes, especially with his connection to Usagi. So like that would be like an interesting like love aspect to look at with how like those go together, and that is considered like a golden aspect between like Taurus and Cancer in astrology. So it's very interesting. So that's also like another like little tidbit. Like I said, I've been looking into stuff and trying to decide how I want to do it. But I think it'd be really fun. It'd be great for like learning astrology, because then you'd have like visuals to go through. Obviously, we're gonna have her crying because Cancers are known for crying, and she did that a whole lot in Sailor Moon. But it's like things like that where you can actually see the different thing. Like you can see the mother archetype when like we have like her interactions with like her mom, and like you can see that she's very nurturing in like her friendships, how family is very important to her, like all the different attributes of Cancer and like the fourth house and everything. It like the roots, like her being like rooted all the way back to like the Moon Kingdom, like your ancestry, that is very fourth house. Like literally she has like, it shows you, if you go through each of the characters, it gives you a whole archetype on the zodiac signs and their houses and planets. Oh yeah, Neptune and Uranus are gonna be those, because Neptune's gonna be the Pisces, which is also one of the lesbians. But she's gonna be that for Pisces 12th house and Neptune, and then Uranus Aquarius in 11th house for Sailor Uranus. So it's like, yeah, I have all those, and of course that's going to be brought up, like how like Neptune is like the unconditional love, didn't see like the partner, so they're not going to see it as a lesbian. And then of course Aquarius is rebellion, so of course they would be the ones headlining a rebellious relationship dynamic, you know, that kind of thing. Like they literally all play out their archetypes very well in the series. That's why I think it'd be very easy for people to starting to see how their signs play out in their charts, being able to have a visual of what it looks like. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. It's going to take me a little bit to find clips that I want to use. That's going to be like a little longer of like research to figure that out, but that's definitely a series I want to do and I want to work on, and I'm going to do it live with you guys because I think that would be a lot more fun. So like we can react to clips and like go over all the astrology together. But yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna end this here. I need to get something to drink and I'm hungry. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. On Saturday, we're gonna be going over the new moon in Pisces. That's gonna be happening the following day. If you guys are feeling extra emotional, we can be emotional together. It's gonna be building this week, so you guys just take care of yourselves. If you need space to work through your stuff, like give yourself the space and the grace, because it's needed right now. Things are heavy, and just be kind to yourselves. But yeah, I will see you guys next Saturday around the same time. like around noonish my time. It's like a little before noon. It's something like that. I'm floating in Pisces time, guys. I'm not, keeping the schedules is not working easy for me right now. I don't know how many of you guys are feeling it's hard to keep the things right now, but it's been a struggle. But yeah, I will be here next Saturday. And we'll do some more readings. We'll go over the astrology for the week. We'll talk about the new moon that's happening Sunday. And then we'll go into we'll do another group reading. We'll do another pick a card and let you guys do that too. And then if there's any personal readings, we'll be doing those. But yeah, I will see you guys next Saturday. I love you all. Bye. Oh, wrong screen. What is this?